millions of people voluntarily spend entire weekends building furniture. They get stressed. They lose screws. They argue with family members. And somehow, they still come back for more. Every year, millions walk through the giant blue and yellow maze known as IKEA, buying furniture they have to assemble themselves. And strangely enough, people love it. But this wasn't an accident. IKEA didn't just sell furniture. They engineered one of the greatest psychological business models in modern history. Because behind the cheap bookshelves and tiny Allen keys was a company that figured out how to make customers do the work, while feeling good about it. And in the process, IKEA transformed homes, shopping habits, and even human behavior itself. Before IKEA, buying furniture was expensive. Really expensive. Furniture stores sold heavy, fully assembled products that were difficult to move, difficult to store, and extremely expensive to ship. A single table could take up huge amounts of warehouse and truck space. That meant higher transport costs, higher storage costs, and much higher prices for customers. Furniture shopping was also slow and limited. Stylish furniture was mostly something wealthy families could afford. Then came a young Swedish entrepreneur named Ingvar Kamprad. And he saw the entire industry differently. In the 1950s, IKEA was still a small Swedish company. One day, an employee was struggling to fit a table into a car for delivery. So he removed the legs. That tiny moment changed the future of furniture forever. Because suddenly, Kamprad realized something revolutionary. Furniture didn't need to be transported assembled. If customers assembled products themselves, IKEA could save enormous amounts of money. This became the birth of flat-pack furniture. And economically, it was genius. More products fit into warehouses. More products fit into trucks. Shipping costs dropped dramatically. Traditional furniture companies transported giant objects filled with empty space. IKEA transported efficiency. And because costs were lower, IKEA could sell stylish furniture at prices ordinary people could actually afford. Competitors laughed at the idea. Customers building their own furniture sounded ridiculous. But IKEA understood something most businesses didn't. People care more about affordability than convenience. And once customers saw the prices, nothing else mattered. But then something unexpected happened. People didn't just tolerate assembling furniture. They became emotionally attached to it. Psychologists later called this the IKEA effect. It's a cognitive bias where people place higher value on things they partially create themselves. In simple terms, when you build something, your brain believes it's more valuable. Even if the process is frustrating. Even if the product isn't perfect. The effort creates emotional investment. And IKEA accidentally turned customers into unpaid labor, while making them happier. Think about it. When someone spends 3 hours assembling a bookshelf, they don't want to believe the result is cheap or low quality. Because then the effort feels wasted. So the brain does something fascinating. It increases the perceived value of the product. IKEA turned labor into loyalty. And this psychological trick became one of the company's greatest hidden advantages. Then IKEA perfected something even more powerful. The store itself. Walking into IKEA doesn't feel like entering a normal furniture shop. It feels like entering a maze. And that's exactly what it is. IKEA stores are intentionally designed to control customer movement. Most locations guide shoppers through nearly every department before reaching checkout. You don't simply grab one item and leave. You wander. You explore. You discover products you never planned to buy. And along the way, you're constantly exposed to perfectly designed bedrooms, kitchens, living rooms, and offices. IKEA doesn't just sell furniture. They sell an ideal lifestyle. And psychologically, this matters. Because customers stop imagining products individually. Instead, they imagine entirely new versions of their lives. A cleaner apartment. A better routine. A fresh start. That emotional visualization drives spending. And IKEA enhances this with subtle psychological tricks everywhere. Very few clocks. Very few windows. The goal is simple. Keep people inside longer. Because the longer customers stay, the more they buy. Then there's the food. Which seems random at first. Why does a furniture company sell meatballs? Because hungry shoppers leave faster. IKEA understood that tired customers stop shopping. So they solved the problem by feeding them cheaply. The famous IKEA food court became part of the experience itself. Cheap meals. Cheap coffee. Cheap snacks. Customers feel like they're saving money everywhere. And psychologically, that creates permission to spend more later. Even the tiny low-cost items near checkout are intentional. Candles. Storage boxes. Kitchen tools. Individually they seem insignificant. But together, they massively increase how much customers spend. Nothing inside IKEA is accidental. Every pathway. Every room. Every price tag. It's all engineered. By the 1990s and 2000s, IKEA exploded globally. And the timing was perfect. Young adults wanted affordable furniture. Cities were getting smaller. Apartments were getting smaller. Budgets were tighter. IKEA became the perfect solution. But it wasn't just cheap. It looked modern. The minimalist Scandinavian style felt clean, trendy, and aspirational. Suddenly, students and young professionals could create homes that looked expensive without spending a fortune. And social media amplified everything. Minimalist apartment tours. Tiny home aesthetics. Organization culture. IKEA became deeply connected to modern internet lifestyle culture. At this point, IKEA wasn't just a company anymore. It was a global cultural phenomenon. But IKEA's success also created criticism. Because cheap furniture has consequences. Many products weren't built to last decades. Some critics argued IKEA helped normalize disposable furniture culture. Instead of buying one expensive table for life, people replaced cheaper furniture every few years. That created waste. Environmental concerns grew. Critics also questioned sourcing practices, labor conditions, and the environmental impact of mass production. And despite IKEA promoting sustainability initiatives, the company still relies on enormous global manufacturing systems. This created a strange contradiction. IKEA sells simplicity and minimalism. But behind the scenes is one of the largest consumer supply chains on Earth. And yet, customers continued buying. Because convenience and affordability almost always win. The real genius of IKEA wasn't furniture. It was understanding people. IKEA realized customers would sacrifice convenience for lower prices. They realized people become emotionally attached to things they help create. They realized shopping could become entertainment. And they realized homes are emotional. People don't just buy tables and chairs. They buy comfort, identity, control, hope. That's why IKEA became more than a store. It became part of modern life itself. Today, millions of homes contain IKEA furniture. And most people never think twice about assembling it themselves. Because what once sounded absurd now feels completely normal. That's the power of IKEA. They didn't just change furniture. They changed consumer psychology. And somehow, they convinced the entire world that doing the work yourself was part of the fun.